everybody? It is your boy Rock from Rock Lifestyle. And this is the Black Sheep Parlor. Hey man, like always, I got my man E. And again, I got my boy, Alan. And today, I have a special guest with me. I got Mathew Carter. I know. You say everybody I bring on this thing is special, right? You're damn right they're special because we bring different, unique people to the show. We make sure that you guys can be able to hear those questions, those answers to those questions that you might have. We touch on those inner bases and we try to hit a roundabout about everything, baby. Everybody have a reason why they're doing something. And that's what the parlor's about. So, Matt, my man. Hey man, we go back, right? We go back.
Yeah, it's been some years.
Yeah, right. Hey man, I met. Hey, just to let everybody know, I know Matt a little bit. I want to say some years ago we met at an FMF in Las Vegas. I was doing the red carpet and the interviews for a company that I was actually with at the time, and Matt was actually one of the performers. Like he wasn't just nobody just there just for the festival. He was actually there for the performance, man. And the FMF means film, modeling, and fashion. Yeah, I think that's what it was, right?
That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah, that's what it was. So it was a very collective group of people that was there, a black-owned movie theater actually that we were at, and it's a very very cool environment. But I met this guy. He was sitting there looking very humble, sharp, like always. He stayed dressing up, y'all. And
Yeah, I could see that. Oh,
right,
what are we here in Tank Top?
we had
I came on, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that's the wrong
what?
shit.
This is relaxed for me.
yeah, this relax for him. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand him, right? But hey, I met Matt, and I had an opportunity to do an interview with Matt. Well, a very small one, not very as much as I wanted to do. So I was able to talk to the Black Sheep and say, hey man, I got somebody I really want to bring out there. Matt, can you just tell the people just a little bit about yourself?
Well, just a little bit about myself. I'll say born and raised in Daytona Beach, Florida. Uh, I actually grew up, I guess you could say, in a single home because my parents divorced when I was 6 years old. So my mom, she raised six kids by herself.
Oh wow.
So I kind of got my first job when I was 8, babysitting. By the time I turned 23, I ended up moving to Atlanta, living in Atlanta for 11 years, started kind of pursuing my passion a little bit there. And then God brought me to New York in 2014. I've been here for this is 7 years now. So um, decided to just, create my own passion, walking on faith and yeah, just chasing my dream.
All right, I
Awesome.
feel, I feel. So I keep hearing you say this word, passion. You know that word means so much to different people out there, right? So what is your passion?
Well, I would say I do have quite a few, but in summary, it's just helping people who need help and want it, providing something to people who really want it, and just hoping and helping them get the knowledge that they need to actually prosper. Because one thing about me, I'm that type of person. It's like when I go through something, I do my best to prevent other people from going through it as best as possible, especially when I know how painful it is. So I guess you can say it's that father-like type mentality.
Hmm.
And you want to try to shelter, I ain't gonna say shelter, but protect people from going through some painful things. And of course, sometimes you can't protect everybody. So I'm very passionate when I try to keep people from going there, but because it hurts when I see them go there anyway.
Of course. Yeah. And so for people like me who are stubborn, I have to learn. I have to break that learning curve. But yeah, I could definitely tell you're a very humble protector just from the way you speak and you carry yourself. So that's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yo, so how you help people though? Like, you know what I mean? Like I hear what you're saying, man, but I think everybody's kind of questioning what do you do to help people?
And that's where the different hats come in because I've been through so many things, and that's what made me create the film War Angel. I started really realizing that God was blessing me because I survived a lot of things that a lot of other people did not. So I've become very attentive when certain things come to my attention, or when I come across certain things, and I actually memorize those particular things. So, for instance, um, being that I kind of took notice to my parents and my father, things that he was doing. I don't hate him. I still love him. I wish he could have did things a little bit differently. So what allowed me to continue to love him and what I share with other people and help them with that is learn from other people's mistakes. So he taught me what not to do. So that's how I was created, and that's why I do what I do. So I'm like a complete opposite. So I don't hate him. I actually am grateful and thankful for, being able to learn from watching what not to do. Um, and then, for instance, like my ex, um, who gave me HIV on purpose. Um,
Oh wow. What
I,
the?
I
That's
I've
crazy,
learned how,
man.
yeah, I've learned how to love anyway, and though I can love you anyway, I don't have to be in your presence. So I do my best to teach people that, and hopefully help them get to understand that hatred doesn't have to be part of the equation. You don't have to go and bust somebody's tire, bust their windows out. You can just keep moving forward, and live a life that you want for yourself. So it's so many things that I come in contact with, and I just do my best to just hold that knowledge as best as possible so I can share with other people when I come across them and I see that they're in the same situation.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, man, that's noble, man. That's a lot of people wouldn't actually feel that way. A lot of people feel like they were, what I'm saying, forgotten and wow.
And that's where my faith
So
comes into That's where my faith in God comes into play, because when I read the Bible, I don't just read it and just push it off to the side. I actually believe the stuff that I read. And I've also had situations, like I said, that were very miraculous that helped me to connect with a lot of those stories. So I can relate to a lot of stuff that I read about in that Bible. And I just hold on to that and thank God for providing me with everything that I need.
man, tell us about War Angel. I don't think the audience or anybody who's watching know what War Angel is, man. Like, already, it's we intrigued about what, saying what you went through. Um, but I know what War Angel was about. Tell the people what War Angel was about and why you wrote it.
Well, again, War Angel is actually based on some of the actual events that I've been through, and also some of the dreams I've had, some of the visions I've had. So I just combined it into one universe, into one world, so I can tell the story of my experiences. Um, and I say some because I'm actually creating, I guess you can say, a War Angel universe is going to be like chapters and sagas, and I guess you could say a series, because I've been through so much. But I talk about in the first awakening, the story of the awakening, I talk about some of the people who I call friends, how they actually tried to kill me, put a gun to my face and tried to rob me, literally pulled the trigger, but the gun didn't fire. Um, I talk about how I was attacked. And it's funny, in the very beginning, some of my friends who remember the situation, they say, you should have used way more people in the beginning from that, because it was like over 100 people that attacked you that night.
Oh my God.
They tried to kill you. They really tried to kill you. As a matter of fact, they thought that they killed you. And when you stood up, it was like just so it was like something out of a movie. And when they kept saying that, stuff like that, when I kind of tell people about my situation, oh, this is like a movie. That's what really helped me say, you know what, let me go ahead and put this movie together. But to be honest with you, what really played a major part with creating War Angel was me working on this movie called Bessie with Queen Latifah. And when we wrapped, the director came up to me because I was just standing in. But every time we went over scenes, they said that I was actually acting in the scenes like an actor would, not just a basic stand-in.
There we go. There we
So
go.
she was she was like, "You want to be an actor, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, do you write?" I said, "No." She said, "Something's telling me to tell you to write. I don't know what this is, and I don't do this, so I just can't fight this feeling. So I'm coming over here to tell you to write." So I knew what it was, but I just didn't know how to go about doing it. And I said, okay, God, you're sending a messenger to me, but how am I going to get this done? And I did, some attempts that it just didn't pan out. And then I ended up posting a story on Facebook about a dream that I had that was so real, and about another situation I went through. And somebody said, Matt, I follow you on Facebook, and boy, you have been through some stuff. You can write a movie about it. I said, oh. And that's what really sparked me starting to write about some of the stuff I've been through. And then I also included about me catching HIV, and how the doctor told me I was going to die, and how I actually created a hero from this story. So I don't tell a sad story, but a story of triumph.
That's crazy hectic right there. I'm getting two very like pronounced characteristics from you. It's like you're very observant and you're a very good storyteller. It's like you almost transcribe your life into either written or creative word in some way. You think that has helped you through pretty much go through most of your life?
Very much so. And I think that's another reason why I'm very grateful for God allowing me to be able to write War Angel, because even as I started to write it, it was very much therapy for me. It was very therapeutic for me because I literally, I guess you could say, went into a trance because I revisited those moments. And I think that's another reason why people can feel the energy when they're reading the book, because I also wrote a book about it. And also the film, because I literally put my energy in it. And I start reflecting on those moments. Like anytime I come across something that's hard, like recently, I was like, this is really hard for me. And I just reflect on those moments. And then I, again, intertwine with the people I read about. And the name Moses will start a lot of times just ringing in my ear. And it was like, remember Moses.
Yeah. Uh, to go off that, I know we can tell that you've been through, like you said, a lot of things, a lot of obstacles that most people probably don't go. A lot of suffering. How would you said you like to help people with that so they don't have to go through it? How would you communicate that? Because we all go through an internal dialogue as we go through that obstacle. Help us understand a little bit and how you transcribe that for a regular person.
Well, I definitely would sit down. I listen first and foremost. I have to listen to them, because everybody doesn't believe in God. So I don't
Right.
want to assume that they share the same beliefs that I believe. And whatever they believe in, I need to make sure I respect their belief and do my best to understand what they believe. So I'll be able to connect with them somewhere. Um, and as they're sharing with me, if I can find a similar situation, and I say a lot of stuff I've been through was a blessing in disguise, because the list is long, what I've been through.
Yeah.
From being bullied to almost being killed to falling out of a window at the age of 1. I mean, it's like I've been through a lot, and I've done a lot of stupid stuff. I've done a lot of crazy stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm on that side of the spectrum.
Es- Especially when you get depressed, because I started going through depression at the age of 12, you know. So it's
Oh,
crazy. So
oh, why? Why? Like you can't just jump over that now. Come on now. You know what I mean? Like,
because
because I see you trying to summarize it and everything like that, but why? Why be like, why you at age 12? The only depression I had is when I dropped my ice cream on the ground, or I dropped my slushy on my damn Thrill. If you're from Savannah, Georgia, you know what the Thrill is. You know, you drop that on the ground, and that blew me out. But why would you develop depression at such a young age? You know what I'm saying? Let us know.
well, remember I told you I started working when I was 8 years old.
Right.
So I'm already out of the element of just a regular child, helping my mom pay bills, making sure she had a little extra money here and there. But I was really depressed because I was struggling with an identity, what a lot of people was like making me feel bad about. Because I went to a Protestant church, a Pentecostal church, I'm sorry. And even though I didn't tell them I was attracted to other guys as well as girls, um, they just keep hearing the same thing over and over, that I'm going to go to hell. So I'm fighting with that, because that's still a concept that I just don't understand. Why would I go to hell because I can't control who I find attractive? It's not like I'm engaging, but I find them attractive. Why is that wrong? I mean, I thought love was good. It's not like I'm lusting. I'm just confused. So that was something I struggled with. But even though I heard God, tell me to stop, and He gave me a good reason why I need to stop, basing a lot of stuff on people. It was very tough because I started having people after me sharing with them what I heard, telling me that, oh no, that was the devil talking to you. That wasn't God. And then these were people who were supposed to be pastors, and I gave them very high ranking. And I am just like trying to process them telling me I'm wrong, but I keep hearing what I'm hearing, and it is as loud as me and you talking. So I'm trying to, understand, well, if I'm an abomination, why is God talking to me? Because he's not supposed to be talking to me. And I dealt with that for years. I struggled with that for years. And I literally started burning myself, trying to allow the pain on the outside to equate with what was hurting me on the inside. And yeah, it was very, very, very deep.
So why you trust the Bible? To be honest, to you, be like, not trying to be funny and shit, but if the Bible say that a man should lay with another man, and this is something you live your life by, why God love you? You know what I mean? Like if we just being real, I ain't trying to stir up no shit, but
Oh no, 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 you good. You good.
I just want to know
Because
because I couldn't follow nothing that's telling me that I'm doing something wrong if it's contradicting itself and saying it's doing something right. Like what?
well, see, the problem was at the time I wasn't reading the Bible then. I wasn't reading it then. As I started getting older, I started reading stuff for myself, and I started getting a better understanding. And I started to realize these people who I was putting on the pedestal were picking and choosing what they wanted to tell me.
Okay.
And then on top of that, they were doing stuff that was also considered an abomination, but they forgot to mention that. They only wanted to mention what they wanted people to hear so that they can control the person coming in their building. So they can get the money out of your pocket to live the life they wanted to live and could care less about how your life was. Because I remember me and my mom on our way to Savannah to see my aunt in Georgia, and the car broke down, and they just left us there. So there were a lot of times and what really caused me to get closer and more to the Bible, again, I wanted to read it for myself. And I also, even though the pastor told me not to question God, I began to question him. Because for me, I wanted to get it from the source, not from someone else who said they got it. I wanted the raw material, and I got it. And it bettered our relationship.
I like that because, dude, I was raised Roman Catholic. I was in a Muslim household. I went to Catholic school. Then I went to the Marine Corps. It was this anti-religion all in its own. So to say that you love something that can't be explained, especially by religion, is it only true to me is that it's there. You know what I mean? For you, it's helping you push. It's not the religion that's helping you push. You know what I'm saying? It's into
Yes,
its own. You know what I mean?
it's definitely religion.
Yeah, that's why I just say me and the Bible. I have my ups and downs with it, gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have my ups and downs with it. Not saying that it's all bad. I just think, like you said, people pick and choose what they want to
Yeah.
take from something so sacred, but also people wrote what they wanted to write. You know what I mean? Like we don't know if this person was writing what they really seen. You know what I mean? We don't know if this was an actual parable or was it for real. And everybody want to take off this ideal of what's real and not real instead of just getting the fucking message. You
And
know?
what's funny is that, I would have visions, I would have a dream about something, and I would say, what is this? What's going on? And then I would hear to read a certain thing, and I would say, okay, could this be what was going on? I mean, it's something, certain things I'm also going to highlight in the next book that I'm getting ready to write with War Angel. But I also started, and it's a lot of people who are Christians who get mad at me because I respect other people's religion and I tell them it's connected, and then they start telling me they shouldn't be serving that God that they serve. And I said, well, hold on, wait. Didn't the Bible say that he made so and so like a god and people was going to worship him? So what do you mean that they can't be worshiping somebody else? See, you're not paying attention to this Bible you said you're reading. So stop judging people, because everybody is not designed to serve the same God you serve. If he said don't have any other gods before him, he's not talking to everybody. He's talking to a specific person, a specific group of people, not everybody. Stop forcing everybody to believe your religion.
Right.
They don't have the same relationship. That's like saying that everybody's your brother when they have a relationship with somebody.
Depends on
depends
on where that person is born.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, I went to, much like Rock, I went to a private school after, I had to leave due to some unforeseen circumstances. On the crazy side again, I had that learning curve.
Not you.
But no, I think a lot of people just end up missing those baseline values that we're taught and get caught in the semantics, and they get so like either uh ex- they go too one-sided on those small details. They forget like the baseline values that we're taught. Even if you're not religious, you're taught this as a kid. Like, you don't steal, be good to one another, have respect for one another. Those baseline, that groundwork that builds the house, we forget that because we get caught up here on the second floor.
And that's why somebody asked me, they said, well, I thought you said your friend was Buddhist. I said, yeah. They said, well, how? They're talking about light and this and that. So how you can be friends with somebody like that? I said, well, because I read this book and it said that God is the light and that God is love. And when they're talking, they're saying love and light. And because for me, God is love, they're saying God and light. So I know what I know, and as long as they're not trying to, murder me and do all this crazy stuff,
Right.
I see God. I see God, and that's what I see, and I just see good. And that is the only thing that really matters, that they're good people, they're a good person. And once again, I have people who are atheists who are my friends, and I don't judge them. I don't tell them they're wrong. My relationship is my relationship with God, and we're still friends. They're good people. I'm not going to force my beliefs on them, and sometimes they ask me about it, but they feel more comfortable talking to me about it because I don't force it on them. And I think that's what relationships is all about: respecting people's belief and respecting people and just being good. And we can all live together in unity with different beliefs.
Yeah, I think I spoke about this about 2 days ago on social media. It's that we have this some level of expectations, which is an ego problem, first and foremost. That because we believe we're so right, everyone should be falling within that same line of thought, which is uh, which is the exact opposite of what black sheep are. We're almost accepting of all these different ventures so that we, as individuals, can grow, almost like branch out our roots. So yeah, just it's kind of weird the times we live in. Almost two extremists. Either you're on one side or you're the complete other side, but you can't be right here.
And that's the sad part, because everybody's on so far on each side that they don't know how to come together, shake hands, and just love each other and just get along with each other, even though you don't 100% agree on everything. It's still middle ground that people can at least respect each other. But I think that is definitely a problem. Some people they're so high and mighty, they feel other people are just beneath them. And that's another sad thing too. That's been one of my struggles too. Like, some people didn't even want to look my way because to them I'm beneath them. And I just keep it moving and just thank God for, what I do have. And just, sometimes they fall and then they reach out, hey, can you help me out? And but it's crazy. But I mean, I do my best to just stay humble, not feel like I'm forced to it. Just, I guess it's just who I am. And again, I just really enjoy helping people when I can. I mean, even with this particular financial service business, it showed me how to help people without putting myself in a situation, because I've put myself in so many situations trying to help people financially, and they just threw me away, you know.
Yeah.
But by me at least being able to write, I can do that. I mean, what really pushed me to go ahead and share my story, because I was a little nervous at first, because in War Angel: The Awakening, even the first book, I was sharing stuff I never shared with people before. I mean,
Yeah.
even after my mom read it, she was like, "I never knew this. Why didn't you tell me this?" I said, "Well, I kind of did, but you didn't believe me."
Hmm.
And she's like, "Wow, I didn't know you was going through this. I didn't know." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, this stuff happened to me in Daytona Beach, Florida, most of it. And you were nervous about me moving to New York." I said, but what really pushed me to share it was after I was watching the news, and they said this 12-year-old committed suicide because he was being bullied for being gay. And I said, I can't just keep living every day knowing that I can talk to other people so they don't feel like they're the only one. Because I remember when I was 12, you know, and it started really showing me that, you know, yeah, you're definitely different, because everybody doesn't have that relationship with God like you did. You got it because you continued to talk with him despite what people were saying to you. Everybody doesn't have that. So even though they don't believe in God, even though they feel like God he turned his back on them, let them know that he loves them. You know, that's all. You just let them know, and hopefully they'll hold on to that. But let them know that, and do the best you can. And that's why I say I'll do what I can, when I can, while I can, until he calls me home.
Right, right. Now, I mean, like you said, you wanted to help like that 12-year-old. You remember the internal dialogue you had going through that. What would you, for someone going through that right now, what would you give them like advice to get them from day to day? Because it really is day to day when you're in that kind of mindset.
I first just kind of talk to him and just see what's going on and let them vent, because sometimes they really just need to talk to somebody. Sometimes they just really need to talk to somebody who will listen to them and not make them feel like they're dirty or disgusting. Secondly, I let them know I love them, or make sure they feel it. That's what's really most important, not just
That
what you
community
say,
support.
that they feel it. Because the son that I adopted when I was with my ex, he was 11 years old, and for me, I guess it's a little different, because God will give me a vision of what to say for each person, because everybody's different. He let me see what happened with him and how people were coming in and out of his life. So I'll first, like I said, make sure they feel that I really truly love them, and I really want to like help them as much as possible. I want them to trust me, and let them know you are loved, even if you don't believe in God. I'm gonna let you know God loves you, because I got to.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in God, at least know that somebody does love you. If you need to talk, I'm here. There's nothing wrong with you. I want you to get that. There's nothing wrong with you. People are saying something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And I wanted to make sure you love you. That's what's really important, that you love you and know who you are. You don't have to go and tell everybody, but I want you to know that you need to love you. I want you to love you. Let's make sure we learn how to love you. What do we got to do? And then I kind of let them take over the conversation, and we just kind of go back and forth from there.
Right, that's dope. You know, what I mean, that's a good dialogue to actually open up with someone that actually that is struggling through those those, I guess you could say, trying times, because when we're becoming a man, or what we think is becoming a man, there's a lot of questions that we're too embarrassed to ask. Um, and one of my questions is this. Now, I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I'm from the South. I'm from the real deep South. Being gay was not accepted.
Right.
I remember hearing slogans of saying, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Yes.
Right? I remember hearing this shit, right? Once I left Savannah and opened my eyes up to just different things in life, I understand that, I have no fear or no hate for a person that sexual orientation is different from mine. If that was the case, I hate a woman, right? Because her sexual orientation is different from mine. She like men. I like women. So I should hate her too, right? Am I only like the people who like the same shit I like? No, it's not. So once you look at it in a light of that, you have to ask yourself, why do you degrade these people? And I'm using these people just to put you guys in the category, not to single you guys out, but to put you guys in the category of a question I always had to ask. I look at you as a man. What struggles do you go through that you look at yourself as an equal to me? Or do you?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, motherfucker, I'm asking you.
Saying that's a question kind of ask yourself to. I mean, for me, I don't see anything different as a man that I would go through other than people like, taunting me because who I'm attracted to. I mean, because, and that's why I say the first struggle I went through growing up was being black, living in the South, because I was attacked, called nigger from, I think, first time I remember being called that was when I was in kindergarten, when the guy stole my bike on my way to school. So I went from being, judged because of me being a black man. Then when I did start kind of admitting about being attracted to the same sex, well, being attracted to both sex, then, oh, it's not bisexual, you just gay. You just gay. And then it was like literally just calling me names left and right. And then the third struggle that I had to start dealing with was after I got HIV positive. Although you sick, oh, you sick, and then you got the gay disease, and it was just one after another, one after another. So I said, well, on the third day he rose, so I gotta rise up. I can't stay down, and that's again what caused me to go ahead and write the story. But you know, there's no difference, and the sad thing is, living in the South, and even when I go home, my sister's husband, I hear him say certain things, and it just makes my skin crawl because I'm like, that is not a real man. A real man does not do that. That is not a real man. It's like a real man will take care of his woman if that's what you're trying to say a real man is going to do. He's not going to call her out of her name. He's not going to like say that it's gay because another son doesn't want to play football. So you're trying to make all your kids be football stars. So the one who wants to go to school and learn about technology, you're telling him that's gay. But as soon as something breaks in the house, who are you going to call? The technician to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why
Yep.
not have a house full of diversity, like somebody smart, instead of stop telling people that they're gay because they don't play football? It's just the mentality is very sad from what I'm seeing from a lot of people, and I don't know if it's the lack of education or
Ignorance.
the lack of wanting the education. So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, you kind of
So,
answered my question in a sense. I was trying to get what would make us on an even playing ground. Understanding that our sexual orientations are different. What makes a man a man? That's what I was really trying to get at. In so many words, brother, you said it. I didn't word it right, but you came out and said it. You said a man is not what you like, it's what you do. It's
yeah.
how you perform. It's the responsibilities that you take. And it's the strife that you take when you do make the mistakes and you stand behind it. Dude, that's dope, man. That's what I got from it. You know what I mean? And that's what I was looking for. See, I was on it. I was close. Yo, but I do want to ask you something. You have been jumping around, and I had some questions I didn't want to ask you, but you actually been answering them as we were going through. Except one. There's a couple, but it's one that I really want to touch on. I've been understanding that you've been actually having a lot of success lately, right? You just won a couple of awards. You've been actually on a couple of different movies, well, not just movies, TV shows, stuff like that. Not just as extras. You got roles now, bro. You got words to read. You know what I mean? So, with all this stuff, you're saying you're doing everything for just the good of what you're trying to give off, right?
Mhm.
So, how do you deal with failure? when something that you actually put your heart into and you know it's the right thing to do, and that big F-bomb drop on you, how you deal with that, B? Tell me.
Well, even though they call it failure, it's not really failure unless you give up. If you don't give up, it's just a lesson to learn as you're moving forward. You only fail when you throw in the towel. And I had to kind of really understand that because I felt like I was failing on so many levels. Even after the diagnosis, I felt like my life was over. I said, okay, I can't be a model. I can't be an actor. I can't do none of this stuff. They're not going to want to work with me. And then what if they try to give me a kissing scene? They're gonna, nobody even want to. So like, I wouldn't even let people touch me. Anytime somebody would scoot by me, I would scoot over, and they probably thought, oh, he's arrogant. But in my mind, I'm like, if you knew I had HIV, you wouldn't want to touch me anyway. So let me just go ahead and help you with that.
I
You're being
remember,
reactionary.
Yeah.
I remember that shit. He would not let me get close to him. Like, until I forced my arm on him. I got pictures with my arm on him.
This guy's stubborn. This
Yeah.
guy's stubborn.
One-
Very-
And then on top of that, and then because of the people, the way they treated gay people, and where I grew up at, it was like they was always fighting people, or everybody was. So it was like even if another guy got close to me, I was like, let me not get close to him because I don't want him to try to want to fight me if I'm touching him, and he accused me of doing something I'm not going to do. So it's like so much is going through my head, and I want to give respect at the same time, and I don't want nobody to feel like I'm disrespecting them. But that's the first thing that was coming out of people's mouth. But it was just, it's so much I do, even when I take pictures, because I do my best to stay fit as well, because that's another way I want to show people that HIV or AIDS, because I was diagnosed with AIDS in 2010 because my T cells dropped so low.
Wow.
AIDS does not determine your destiny. A diagnosis does not determine your destiny. So something I really want people where I grew up, and they still little bit by little bit getting it, it doesn't mean they're sick. So I'll take a picture. I'm like, do I look sick to you? I might look sickening this body, but no, I'm not sick. So and I don't try to, but it's like I'm trying to get a point across to them that, you can still have a nice physique if that's what you want to have, but you have to work for it, of course. And then even with the acting career, that's something else that pushes me because I want people to really know, because I had to teach myself that you can still acquire your dream. I've gotten the roles, like if somebody's not going to give it to me, or if it's something that I want, I'm going to create it for myself, which is another reason I went ahead and wrote the film. That's what she was telling me. Create your own family, create your own project, write your film, and put yourself in your own movie. I created my own magazine when I was in Atlanta and put myself in my own magazine. So I wanted people to understand, I really want this for myself. And they started realizing, you're serious about this, aren't you? Hell yeah, I'm serious about it. If you ain't gonna give me the opportunity, I'll give it to myself. So I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I really want you to know I really want this for myself. And then they started, giving me parts or taking the pictures and putting me in their magazine. So I felt blessed.
That's great. That's awesome. Now, I'm ignorant in the whole acting scene. So, and then there's a bunch of other people who I'm sure would like to know how do I become the next Vin Diesel?
Well, you already got the physique. Just go ahead and send your picture. He'll probably pick you on the spot.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you.
get it, Wolverine. Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what they call me, Wolverine.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the nickname that I gave him a long time ago. Hey, Matt, I got a question. I mean, you've been through a lot. You've, first struggle, you said you black growing up in the hood, basically, right?
Yeah.
Second struggle, growing up, being gay and having to deal with all that stuff, and then HIV. But you were able to turn it around, the way you're explaining it. You started writing, wrote a book, made a film. What did you learn about yourself overall, from all those positive and negative experiences and getting through, you know, the failures and turning them into lessons? What have you learned? What have you learned about yourself?
I've learned that I'm very resilient, and it really taught me how to really I call myself an alchemist
That's cool.
because I've transmutated that negative into a positive. And people,
I
they
like
always
that.
laugh at me. They say, "You'll find a silver lining in the darkest cloud," boy. I say it's transmutation, you know. And I also remind myself, again, I go back to that Bible.
Yeah.
And God reminds me too. He said, "Well, remember when you were saying you want to be like me? You got to be careful what you speak because I've learned that when I speak things, they do come to pass. So I have to be very careful. Some people have certain gifts, and that is one of mine. Um, but I started realizing something that I started learning too as I was going through these things. I was able to relate to this person in this book that I was reading about, and I was like, wow. So this probably how Jesus felt when he was like telling Peter, and Peter was like, I don't know him. Um,
Yeah.
this is probably how he felt when he was like literally being called a witch because they call him a witch. I was like, wow, he healing people in the city and they calling him a demon. They calling him a witch. So, because they called me that when I was a kid because they were trying to plan and plot things against me and then stuff would happen to him. They was like, oh, Matt, is he practicing voodoo? He practicing witchcraft. Why? So it was like I really started finding a connection. And I believe that connection was another powerful thing that really helped me to pull through a lot of those things.
Nice.
Yeah. Matt, bro, I will say, man, I want you to say that last quote you said again when you said disease is not your desire. What did you say? What was
Your
it?
diagnosis is not your destiny.
There you go. Dude, I struggled for that for
Yeah.
years. I fucking struggle. Most of our military people that actually get out. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I'm a retired Marine. I was medically retired, in September 2010. And these two gentlemen right here, that's right here with you, they are also Marines. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for
And we we struggle with almost a similar thing because it's called transitional struggle in a sense. Um, they break us down to be a Marine. You really become a Marine. People don't really understand what that is. That title is serious. That title is real because you start understanding how to manipulate things in your body that normal civilians don't have to do. And
mm,
emotions is one of them.
Yeah.
Emotions is the first things they teach you how to suppress. So it's zero.
mm,
So getting back to society and to understanding this thing and being diagnosed with something called PTSD is a strange word, but a very familiar word through all the military ranks.
yeah.
It's
And
taboo.
yeah, man, and it's like you don't think you got it because you're around a whole bunch of crazy motherfuckers like these. You understand?
Hey, oh, I'm, I'm okay, man.
So you don't know you crazy until you get around regular people and they're like, yo, you nuts. So to hear, what I'm saying, that type of slogan is something we all struggled with. At first you think, oh man, I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life until you make the change. That's why he came up with this whole black sheep thing. He
Yeah.
came because he was struggling with it and was fighting hard with it. And he found his way out. And a lot of our brothers don't.
That's
And
true.
then
Yeah.
he grabbed another brother that he's seen. He said, man, this dude's smart. He can help me too. So he grabbed Alan. And Alan felt the vibe. And we gravitate to each other, bro. So it's good to see people like yourself that actually go through a struggle, but does not finish off saying this is going to be the end of me.
Yeah. You don't let it
This is
define
just
you.
the
Yeah.
beginning. This
Exactly.
is the beginning of me, man. This is not
Yeah.
me.
And I'll say another reason, like with the war angel thing, that's another reason I guess I did. I ain't gonna say I guess, but that was another thing I heard in regards to war angel, because the whole concept came around when Trayvon Martin was killed, and I was on my way to do a photo shoot, and I just kept hearing, "I'm not dead, I'm still fighting." I was like, "What is this I'm hearing?" He was like, "I'm fighting," because that's what angels do. They fight. The battle's not over. We're still fighting because we're warriors. Angels are warriors. We're not some weak, timid. We're warriors. We're on the front line, and I'm still fighting. Don't give up because I'm not giving up. And I just ran to the store and grabbed a sheet or what, and just created a look real quick to emulate the war angel. And the photo shoot was just very sporadic. So that's what I'm noticing with you guys. You're war angels, and then on top of that, and even when you mentioned about making a real man can put their that taboo or that whatever it want to be called to the side and actually join hands and come together instead of saying I'll be a caveman.
Yeah.
Actually be a man and work together. So that's really amazing because you guys are definitely warriors, and warrior, you can't get rid of the warrior, but you definitely can learn how to blend in when you need to, but you're going to always be a warrior once you become one. And it's funny to hear you say that too, because I tell people that's like, you good at being home by yourself or being isolated? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Because I have time to get work done. I have time to reflect. I have time to do a lot. And especially when I see, like you said, people's calling you crazy, but when I see what other folks are out here doing, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
stuff that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's selfish. So selfish. Man, this has been. I'm not gonna lie to you, man, Matt. This has been amazing. Like, I don't know what this was. A conversation,
Hey, you
man.
gave me goosebumps. I just realized I have wings on my back.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, I like to say it's a podcast, but honestly, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. I just want to get down to the nitty gritty of questions that we really want, that really wants to be asked. And I'm trying to give some people that I know I can ask. Some people that I know that are open up their body and open up their souls to help others, and like what you're doing yourself.
Thank you.
I don't see this being our last conversation with you. I don't see this. The things that you're going, the steps that you're taking with your career, the way you think about life, the way we still keep connected. You know what I mean? You keep me in a gray area, and that's a good thing. I like being in the gray area. The gray area allows me to see all the colors that's out there. So it's dope. So it's one thing I want to say before I go. I gotta say one thing. What makes you a black sheep?
Well, what made me the black sheep was always thinking different from everybody else because I refused to conform to what I was told that I had to do. I always fought against what people said I had to be. And I did the opposite of what I was told. They said I was very defiant. But at first, for me, it was a bad thing because the black sheep's always standing out amongst all these white sheep. And I started to realize as I owned being a black sheep that I was actually a blessed black sheep. Because when it came time for me to actually want to show what I could do, when I actually stopped being embarrassed about my abilities, I'm still fighting with that. But it makes it easier to be noticed. It makes it a whole lot easier to be noticed when I want to get a message out, which is why I'm still fighting and doing what I need to do, even if I have to do it by myself to create this new series that I'm working on, because I'm going to be noticed by somebody on a larger platform like Netflix or something that allow me to put my story there, because God has told me I have to share this with people.
Right.
I'm grateful that the film is on YouTube and it's reaching a lot of people and it's helping people, because people are telling me how it's giving them a new perspective. Even the pitch deck that I created and started sharing with people, the pitch deck alone was having people reach out to me and saying, this really opened my eyes. It really broadened my perspective on so much. I'm very grateful that I decided to say yes when God told me to do something. And because of that, I'm reaching people and helping to heal people in so many ways. And I'm very grateful. And being a black sheep allows me to do it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's like an original piece of art. You can't get it anywhere else, and it's always invaluable.
It's true.
Amen. Hey, Alan, you got anything else for him before we go?
I just want to say thank you, Matthew, for coming on here and sharing your
Yeah.
story. I think you're a very, very brave person for, going through what you went through and still sharing it and having that courage to create content around it, books, movies, and inspiring people who may be in a similar situation as you. So, just thanks for coming on and sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. And remember, they don't
Yeah.
have to be diagnosed with AIDS or HIV. It can be anything. I just want people to know.
Yeah, there's all types of ailments out there, mental health, a lot of people with issues and struggling. So, I think you sharing your story is very, very helpful for millions of people, around the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate. For me, people's stories are like an educative classroom for me. It
Yeah.
gives me a different perspective that I can definitely pass on, because I will always say I'm ignorant because there's always something for me to learn. And you definitely taught me something really, really, really valuable today, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Hey, man. You know how I feel about you, brother. Hey, man, I love you. You keep teaching me every day more and more things that I can learn as far as just the push from a different walk of life. I believe that we all sometimes have to be that spotlight. And now, dude, we're that spotlight shining on you. It's your time to shine, baby. Just understand that just because we black sheep don't mean we don't shine like the stars in the sky. We just shine different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Amen. But let's tell these people what you got going out before you go. What's coming up
Yes.
new for Mathew Carter? Like real talk.
Yes.
Like what's going on?
Well, like I said, right now I've written my second book, War Angel Inner Demons, and that's really focusing on a lot of things that's causing people with depression, how they're fighting inner demons. It don't have to be a actual demon itself, but just something you've been through that you're holding in that's really just eating you alive. And because I share one of the stories about how the girl I dated at the time was killed and how I was blaming myself for her death. But I'm turning that into a mini series. I had a conversation with a couple of people, and they said they were connected to Netflix, so we're going to see what's happening with that. And I'm getting ready to position myself to write book 3, which is going to bring another element. I'm going to kind of talk about the story about Lilith from what I was shown about Lilith. So that's going to be a third book, that I'm going to be writing. And I'm like I said, doing financial services as well with this guy named Marshall Falk from the NFL, and just helping people,
Heck
make
yeah.
sure they have what they need. So it feels good on that level to be able to help people and not put myself in a situation. And then because me helping them and connecting them to a service, I can get paid and I can become my own investor. So if I don't get an investor, I can invest into myself and eventually start investing into other people.
Okay, well, how people can get in touch with you, man? Tell the people what's your handles you got, your Facebook, Instagram, and let's go slow, man. Like, don't be one of them crazy ass people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, go to
Yeah.
.com and
Remember, I got a learning curve. You got to remember me.
No, I do my best to try to take it slow. Hopefully, I'm taking it slow. But yeah, my Facebook is facebook.com/all about Matt. That's all about Matt. Instagram is war.angel.reborn. Also, my Twitter is God's War Angel. Probably if you just Google War Angel, I'll probably come up. To be honest with you, because I've been pushing it so hard.
Awesome.
But I have a few pages, but that's the best one to get me on Facebook, all about Matt. and then you can connect to the other pages, because I have also a nonprofit organization that I started that I'm also building. You can go to that website. Is www.arealdesire.org.
I like that.
All right.
That's awesome.
In your bio, you talked about opening a school.
That's that. That's another reason why it's a very unique way I want to get the school going. So that's another reason why I'm really pushing this mini series and these projects, because it's a performing arts centered schools that I want to build, and the students that I'm working with, I want to incorporate them into the films that I'm going to be creating, and then the talent shows that I'm going to be creating as well. So I want to build models, actors, singers, and be able to get the teachers to teach them these things, and then give them the opportunity, if they can't get picked up by a major agency or something, give them the opportunity with the projects that I'm creating in-house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
really noble.
well, let's keep us involved with this, man. Keep us in touch with this whole thing. Let us know how. I'll talk to the team, on Real Talk, man. But we'll help you as much as we can help. This is not our. Of course, this is a different realm for us. None of us are actors except me. Y'all know your boy's an actor, right? Your boy was on.
Y'all portray
Hey,
us
man, you can't-
over here, so it's all good.
Everywhere. I was everywhere. Like, let me back on this.
we can't all be good looking, all right? We can't all
No,
be good looking.
we can't look like you all the time.
There's a learning curve.
You can't learn to be pretty.
Learn
But real talk, man. Hey, Matt, man, I really mean that. If there's anything we can do to help out, let us know. If you need some people on set, let us know where your set's going to be at. Just to let us know, man. We might can fly out. We might can come see you, do a little bit of interviews, do some things on your set. Shit, you never know, man. You got to reach. Okay.
I'm in the process now. I'm going to be reaching out some people with some trailers, so hopefully I can accommodate you all, because I'm planning on filming everything in Atlanta, because I'm actually preparing myself to move back to Atlanta next year. Because that's why I say it's 7 years this year, makes 7. I believe 7 is completion. I came here because I was severely depressed from trying to help somebody by moving them into my home, and then a whole situation happened, and I went in some serious depression. But I feel like I am a whole lot stronger now, so I'm going to be heading back to Atlanta to build there. And I already have my 501c3, so if you know someone who definitely can help with that, let me know with the organization, because I do have nonprofit status already.
All right. So when we get offline, we'll talk more about this. These guys right here are excellent in this, especially Wolverine. Wolverine was a nonprofit organization. So he got
There's a learning curve.
Hey, man, but before we keep going on and on and on, we can, but this will just be a continuation. Amen, Matt, we will see you at another time. Hey, man, this is your boy Rock from Our Lifestyle. I got my man E. I got my boy Alan. Hey, man, and this has been the Backseat Parlor. Until next time, guys, we out.